of Colorado all across the state. And so we now have like 75 maps across the state. And so, right, the idea is that if you're a teacher, you should be able to go someplace and use a map. And not every, school district has a map. We have many small, I don't know what you have that are like BOCES, Boards of Cooperative Educational Services, right? You're not going to use this map every day necessarily, but it is a great tool. So think about how you would use it in your classroom. And I would really love to see there be some scaffolding, right? How are you going to use it in elementary school and then middle school and high school? So what we're going to do today is a little bit of basic kind of exploration of the map. People coming out, have any of you used the map in your classrooms? Okay, you have, okay, and okay, but not this particular map. Okay, so I'm going to run through a couple things as well as this lesson about population. Okay, and then the population lesson fits into the discussion that we're going to have going forward for this afternoon and tomorrow about redistricting. But you can't redistrict, right, until you understand where your population is. But I want you to be comfortable on this map. And what I have found is if you don't get your students comfortable on the map, then they're kind of not sure what they're supposed to do. The other caution I have is do not give your students a piece of paper and a pencil and have them walk around on the map and do things, okay? That is not the most useful thing for this tool, right? You can do that with a paper map or a map on the screen. Get them walking around. And as you can see, there are some rules for the map. What do we have not allowed? Exactly. So try and avoid the students walking around with paper and pencil. All right. So as we said earlier, I asked you to stand at the south side of the map, and it's really better if everybody kind of scoots up so you're next to the map. Yeah, don't be shy, sir. Yep, come on along. Okay. And I usually talk from the north side of the map. I mean, wherever it's harder on like Maryland is challenging. But then you have the students going around. And depending on the age of the students and what you're doing, standing or sitting, it just depends. High school students are sometimes kind of wonky about like, I don't want to take off my shoes or whatever. Tell them tough-o, they're going to just have to get out there and do that. Now, I can do that because I'm usually just coming into a classroom and I can tell them what to do. But you all have to work that out with your students. Okay, so we've talked a little bit about the rules. The most challenging age for the map is middle school because they are less careful than high school students and they are heavier than elementary school students. And so they are also inclined to like slide. So my rules also include no sliding on the map. And if you have, like this gentleman over here, he should roll up his pants just a little bit. So particularly for jeans, and you, sir, Dan, yes, okay. You should roll those up because they will scratch your map. These maps are now no longer being printed, so this is an incredibly important resource that cannot be replaced. So.
And OPage has 3 of these that they can check out for people around the state, so they have 3 of these.
Yeah.
So this is one of them.
I was really happy to have it today. All right, so I'm trying to think if there's anything else in terms of the logistics of the map. I will fold it up a little differently than it was folded. I recommend having a separate box for the map, like an under the bed plastic hefty box that you can get at.
One of our warehouse guys made us a tube out of like plumbing conduit.
I have, yeah. I used to do that too for my state map, but I did find that the plastic under the bed map worked pretty well. Anyway, so usually you've got like the map a little separate so it doesn't get squished by all the stuff. And then see this tub over here? There should be, to be really useful, there should be about 2 tubs of stuff that go with the map. And then you can do multiple activities. Okay, so we should also have, imagine a plastic compass, that you would laminate, right? And then there also should be a key, right? And these things are not on the map in part because they're a teaching map. They're a really useful tool. So I would say it would be nice by the time you're in high school with high school or middle school students that they have seen the map previously and you don't have to explain that to them, but you might. All right, so a map key, a compass. What else do we need to make sense of our map? Imagine we had a map. Yes, exactly. What is that? It's a scale, exactly. So I'm sorry to the people online because I'm not used to teaching that way. So this map is 45 miles on our map. Is this really 45 miles? No. Okay. What's 45 miles from Norman? Okay. So, okay. But generally, right, you get this, you try to give the students some sense of what 45 miles might be, right? Or whatever the scale is on the map. Right. So scale, very helpful. And then what does it say? We also need to know about the, yeah, I'm not going to do kilometers. We can do math, yes. But what's above? What kind of projection do we have? Yes, we have Albers conic equal area projection. And this is a good projection for mid-latitude because what we're really interested in here is a projection to show area, to show space, right? So again, all of those concepts that students might already have been learning in geography, you can reinforce using a completely different tool. So just, again, think about how you might use that. All right, so I would like you all to come out and stand on a city or town. And if we had a little key, you would be able to know what the key is for that, but I think you can tell, right? A black dot. So stand on a different city or town. All right, so look down at your dot. Don't be shy. You can come out too, it's okay. Does your city have a river running nearby? Okay, right. So why might population centers be, on water? All right, so one thing to talk about here. Okay, so now I would like everybody to stand on a different kind of feature, right? So you've got an Indian reservation or a grassland, a national recreation area. So pick something, or a lake. Yeah, that's good. Okay. All right. So lakes. So what's over here?
Black Mesa.
Black Mesa. All right. How about that one, sir? Okay. All right. And what? Here Great Salt Plains Lake. Okay. How about you?
Black Hill National Grassland.
Okay. And down here?
Chickasaw National Recreation Area.
Cool. All right. Oh, and the Indian reservation.
Osage Nation.
Osage. Okay. Wow, that's a pretty big one. Okay. And down here, what do we have?
Mountain Range.
Ah, right. So you've got a little terrain here, and the green is national forest, right? It doesn't seem to say it on there, but that's what that is. All right. So everybody step back off to the south side of the map. And again, whatever you kind of want to do with your students to get them onto the map, really important. If you were doing this in kindergarten, I would say, right, have the kids stand on the number of their age, right, or pick the letter of their name, right? You can really just do a wide variety of activities. Okay, so how many other states touch Oklahoma? Okay, so how about, did you say 6? You have all the answers. This is good. We're going to make you, though, come out. All right, so you're going to stand here. You're in Texas, all right? So you're going to walk all the way around without touching the state of Oklahoma. We're just going to count. So Texas is one big one, okay? New Mexico, Colorado, Kansas, very long there. Missouri, okay, so 6. All right. And I have to tell you, whenever we do this in Colorado, we think of Oklahoma because we touch you, and that makes us, we have 7 states. So think of something that you would want to say. Like, so when I say, oh, how many states touch Colorado? 7. How many days of the week? Right? How many continents? So you can't do that for your 6 states, but you can think of something else that you might want to engage with. All right. Ooh. Oh, here? Is this? Ah, yeah. Okay. Yes, we have the 4 corners. That is pretty fun. Oh, and right, you have your highest point. Fascinating. Okay, way over here on the western side. Now, obviously, also, this is a really great time to talk about the Panhandle. I don't have anything to say about that, but you might. All right. So again, you kind of 10 minutes of orientation is kind of a good sense of how that works. Depending on if this is the 3rd time your students have seen the map, you don't need to do orientation. They know how the map works. Go for it. Okay, any questions about this map for those of you, especially who are seeing it for the first time? Okay.
Why do they only need the Osage Nation?
So we have no knowledge of National Geographic's cartographers. The maps, which these were produced about 2016, they did not consult anyone. And the people in Arizona are really peeved because they did not have nearly the number of Native American reservations on there. So these were chosen, this is from cartographic knowledge of about 4th grade, right? So, but the thing is, what happened is, in my view, National Geographic then marketed this to 4th grade, but you can use it so often, right? I did the activity that we're going to do now with my church ladies, right? It really works with any age, starting from preschool on up. Other questions? Not that we can answer them clearly. Yes.
What are the dots? Like I've seen some of there's some dots or some
It's a little dots.
there's a little
Yeah.
black dot. Like what
Is that the border?
Is that
That's the border. So is your border?
Oh, that's the
In
border.
between
Oh,
the
I
middle.
see. I see.
Yeah.
So the river is
Yeah,
border.
the river has meandered and
Yeah.
the water was meandered with it.
Oh, so what a great story, right? So the other thing to know, and these materials are not here, but I use restaurant menu holders. You know, like okay. And then you can stick anything you want in there on like a little half 8 and 11 by sheet or whatever. And so, yeah. So you could say to students, okay, I'd like you to write about, an author who lived in a particular place, right? You could do anything you wanted that had a geographic connection, anything you can do with latitude and longitude. Okay, so that's the other thing is you can see on here we have latitude and longitude, and I have, for the Colorado map, made everything that's on the map, like all the places as well as not the rivers, but anything that is kind of a geographic point, that they, with the elevation and information, that they can go out and place it on there as a practice to finding the latitude and the longitude. It's clearly not exact, right? But you have somebody stand on 36 and somebody stand on 100 and you meet here, right? Okay, so again, there's all kinds of opportunities to practice geographic skills in a different way that really gets kids engaged. Other questions?
So is it mostly all the county seats? Plus the big cities?
I am definitely not the person to ask there, but yeah, okay. So you could do a really interesting, right, analysis of that. Yeah. All right. So let's see, what happened to Andy? Got it. No, I was just wondering as a check if what I'm doing is working for the people at home, because I really have not been focused on them. I'm sorry. So this lesson is based on a lesson that National Geographic created for the giant map of North America. And we were looking at the 10 largest cities in the United States in 1900 and then in 2000. And so instead, we're going to look at the 15 largest cities in Oklahoma in 1900, 1950, and 2020. Okay. And again, this is a jumping off lesson. If you were teaching Oklahoma history, right, then you could talk about migration, you could talk about natural resources, you could do whatever you want to do. But I find it's a really useful lesson from about 4th grade on up. Below 4th grade, it's really hard for the kids to find the places and, you know, but that's just what I found. All right, so I'm going to ask, these are a little unwieldy. Oh, and I also have an entire video of this activity that if you forget that you want to go on and look at it, you could like look at it double speed. It's got the cones in a little bit different way. Could you take one and pass it on?
Take the whole thing? Okay.
Yeah, it's not very elegant, but clearly that's not going to work. Here, there you go. Okay. This is my information. Here we go. So there is a lesson for every state called, this one is Oklahomans on the Move. And this one was developed by Clayton Cannon. But again, you know a lot more than I do, right? About, no, keep that one. And then I have 3 more. Perfect. Okay. And depending on where you live in the state, right, your students are going to know completely different things, right? So, for instance, our students on the eastern plains of Colorado, they have no idea what a mountain pass is, right? And so we talk about a pass, and they're like, I have no clue. So you've got, you know, your directions on here. So we're going to really look for trends, right? And as we put these cities out, or we list them on the map. The other thing you could do is decide that you wanted to use this as part of a math activity, right? So like how much has a city grown over time? Okay, so this is less useful in like a particularly social studies class, but again, if you were in elementary or middle school, you might want to think about that as well. All right, so 1900, largest city in Oklahoma is, and we're going to start over here. I just have to start and go around rather than have somebody call it out because, again, I don't know all of you, so it's just going to be kind of wild. All right, sir, largest city is in 1900? Guess. No. Oklahoma City. Okay. All right, so walk out and put your marker on Oklahoma City. Excellent. Okay. Next largest is Guthrie. Now, if she's no. I see. Okay. Oh, great. Okay, so if you'll put it on the dot. So it's very important to put it on the dot because you might have to find it again, right? So this is the other thing to remember. And if she didn't know where it was, you would not say right there. You could say north of Oklahoma City, or you could use the handy grid, right? Because the students I have found are not familiar with grids, and it's very important to help them know that. All right, third largest city is Shawnee. Oh, no. Okay, El Reno. Okay, so my favorite thing about this activity with teachers is when they say, I didn't realize. And that's exactly what this activity does, right? Is give you a sense of, oh, this is new information. Okay, Perry. All right. Enid. And Jane, this is what we would use the flat cones for. Yeah, they're a little better for this. Okay. Kingfisher.
So were you down into the 1950s?
No. These are the top 15 cities by population in 1900. Ponca City. Okay. Okay. Yeah, and I'm terrible at pronunciation some days. All right, Stillwater. Oh, but be clear. Which way? East of Ponca of Perry. Blackwell. But which way? Thank you. Okay. Norman. It's good that you know where we are. Okay. Newkirk. Okay, so give her a hand. She is not sure where Newkirk is. So how about a grid? Use a grid for Newkirk. No. Okay, but what grid is it in? Look at your yellow grid. G2. Okay. Oh, it's not labeled. So Newkirk. Okay. Great. So you think it's here, like there?
Okay, let me think.
Okay.
Is that K County?
Okay.
It's on west
I think east of the Blackwell.
of Blackwell.
So
East northeast of Blackwell.
And directly north of Ponce.
Got your
okay. So we will need to add onto this list. I apologize. We'll need to add your lat long on here because there's no I'll make sure that we do that before we upload this. Okay, that's good to know. Okay, Alva, is Alva on here? Alva, sorry. Other direction. There you go. Okay. Oh, yeah, we understand. Good job. Pawnee.
We do.
East of Ponca City, call like Osage Nation,
East of Ponca City.
Oh, Pawnee is not on there? Okay. So Pawnee and Newkirk. Okay, so.
Somewhere here.
Southeast of Ponce City.
Okay, all right. And Chandler.
It's a kind of where it is.
Okay.
I kind of know where it is. So it's,
Northeast of Oklahoma City.
yeah, northeast, yeah, it's like east straight from Edmonds.
Okay.
You're coming this way, west of Cushing, right?
So like right here?
Is it west of Cushing? Okay. All right. So ideally, you would have that look all the same, right? And because I think it's a little bit easier to make an analysis. But what can you say about this particular set of cities? Why are these the 15 largest cities in Oklahoma in 1900?
They're near the railroad.
Okay, railroad. All right.
Maybe cattle trails.
Maybe cattle trails.
Okay.
County seats.
Okay. So is county seats something that you might like to maybe create a set of information for, right? Like if you made little cards that had the county seat on, that's an important thing in Oklahoma? Okay.
Also, we're not a state in 1900, so this is Indian territory over.
Ah, okay. Okay.
And the land run, yeah, you're 98 area land run.
Right. Right. So you've got land run in Indian territory as a conversation opportunity. Okay. Yeah.
Cherokee Strip up there with Ponca City.
And what you could do, there are like classic chains in the box, so you could probably draw out that 98,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yep.
longitude and kind of identify it that way.
Okay. So, right. But now, what I was struck by is when you do this on, right, one of the things that I think is cool about this map is that it does not have roads, right? But that means you can add them, right, with the chains or, you know, some other form. But you can see, right, I-35 right here. Mm-hmm. Yep. So you, again, you can kind of start to think about how the terrain affects the the location. All right, so now we're going to look at the largest city. Let me see how that works. Yep, okay. In 1950. All right, so I hope these are all on here. And we're going to start with this lady in red. Sandy Shapiro. Excellent. All right, largest city in Oklahoma in 1950 is Oklahoma City. So I'm going to ask you to actually balance the little beanbag on top. Yeah, it's really challenging. I'm sorry. Okay. There's a better way to do this, but we're going, your teachers, right? You kind of go with what you have. Oh, the other thing to know is, right, we had these metal things, right? Like often you have those in your library or someplace where you put out the map. I just usually keep manila folders and then tape them over and they're fine. So, okay. Next largest city is Tulsa. Right? Muskogee. Ooh, good. All right. Enid. And Lawton. Norman. Shawnee. Stillwater. Ponca City. Oh, no. Bartlesville. Oh, no way. Okmulgee. Okmulgee. Yeah, well, all right, folks.
You get to be an
Okmulgee.
expert on Native American place names.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely correct. But I have, like I said, oh, the Weathermen are not from here. Interesting. Yeah.
Also learn if you're not from here, from weather. That's all right.
Mm.
love the word Tecumseh.
Ardmore. Okay, and McAllister. Ada. Okay. And Chickasaw. Oh, geez, ow. Okay. All right. How many of the cities have both markers? Those of you who are 6. Okay. So 6 of the cities that were growing in 1900 are still growing in 1950. Okay. And, is 6 more or less than half of 15? And again, you can just include a variety of questions for your students to think about this. Why are those cities growing and these flat ones and these little guys here are not? Oil. Okay. Yeah. Is Enid a military base? Yes. Okay. And Lawton. Yeah.
And Norman had one during the war.
Norman was a Navy base. You know all the oceans we have around here.
Right.
Yeah.
Memphis had a naval air station. So yeah. I mean, at least it's on the river, right? So.
Or Oklahoma City, yeah. So yeah, Lawton has Fort Sill. That's where they do artillery training.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So of course we're still not getting a lot of population over here.
That's the Dust Bowl there.
Well, right. So 1900 to 1950, we skipped right over, a lot of history. So what happened between then would be an interesting conversation. And it could be, right, that for your purposes, you would want to do 4 decades between 1900 and 1950. It just depends, right? But this is just a bigger perspective. All right, so now we are down to 2,000. Wait, who has not gotten to do one here recently? Yeah, yeah, they missed out over there. Okay. There you go. Okay. All right. So again, we're not going to stop in 1950, but you could have a lot of conversation about it. Now we're going to go to 2020. We also have 2010 because when we were doing this, it was before the 2020 census. There's only one city that changed. Like in Colorado, for us, it didn't make a big difference. I mean, it actually did. For us in Colorado, we lost Grand Junction, which is the westernmost city. It became the 16th largest city. And that was very sorrowful to me because when I was out in the state, there was like nothing over on the western slope. And so all the students are like, well, everything is always about Denver, right? And so we at least had Grand Junction, but not anymore. Okay, so, yeah, go ahead.
I mean, with students, they think more, but as far as teachers, like, what could we, as assumptions, make as the biggest? Because we've lived through it, we've seen it grow.
Right. But this is actually that your state has really good opportunity here to discuss this very issue. So we're going to start with Britain. Okay. Largest city in Oklahoma is Oklahoma City. So take that off, right? Yeah, just go ahead and put it on there. Okay. And you'll be able to see, I've got slightly different cones and they're a little bit more stable, but you can still see them, that kind of 3 set. Okay. Tulsa. Yep. Norman. And again, you can kind of go as fast or as slow as you want to in terms of your discussion point. Broken Arrow. Edmond. Lawton. Moore. Midwest City. Enid.
Would be just east of Oklahoma City.
Yeah, I mean, I know where it's at, but.
Oh, that's Midwest City?
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah, okay. Stillwater. Oh, Owasso.
Owasso.
Hey, all right, Owasso. Yeah, it's a good effort. Bartlesville. Muskogee.
Yeah.
Muskogee, okay. Shawnee. I mean, I grew up in Ohio with the Shawnee, so this is not unusual. And Bixby. Is Bixby on here?
Yeah,
It is. Okay, great. Okay. So really, we're just missing a couple of those early ones. All right. So these are the blue and the purple cones. Okay. So trying to kind of make sense of the blue and the purple cones. How many cities have all 3 markers? Kind of this. No, I think it's still 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, thank you. Okay. So the 3 are the 5 are 5 of the cities. Okay. Yeah, Stillwater. Yep. Yeah.
Are we saying that Lawton made the list in 1900, not in 1950, but again in 2020?
No, it's
No,
1950.
1950 and 2020.
Okay,
Yeah.
And beanbags are the
right.
Right. So this one can't. I'm not sure about this one.
Ponca City didn't make it in 1900, or I mean in 2000.
It doesn't have the blue or the purple. Yes, thank you. Okay. Yeah. It stops, right? So there's a good story, right? Why did it stop growing? All right. So make some observations, teachers. Urbanization, right? This really shows you the sprawl, suburbanization. Yep. Okay. What else?
white fly.
Okay. Yeah. Does it say anything? Yeah. Jane, you were talking about immigrants. Immigration? Right. Okay, college towns. Mm-hmm.
But also your railroad died, oil kind of goes up and down, but the railroad died.
Okay.
The establishment of military.
Okay, railroad didn't die, we killed it. The oil and gas business killed the railroad.
So only Lawton is kind of south of Oklahoma City, right? Area. Yeah.
Military base, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And again, you still don't have anybody out here. Yeah. Okay. All right. So there's a lot more you can talk about in terms of this, but now what I would like you to do is, let's see, how about you pick somebody to help you? Divide the state in half by population based on the purple and the blue cones.
Okay, divide it in half
By population, but based on the purple and the blue cones, not like how many cones there are, right? So basically you're thinking of 2020 and that if you were Rhode Island and you only had 2 congressional representatives, how would you divide the state in half?
She said it like gerrymander Oklahoma.
No. Gerrymandering and redistricting are not the same thing at all.
I know, but I have a tendency to wind through all of this.
Like
Just
like that?
You put the metros in the same
You're putting
district.
all of them in the same?
okay. So how many purple and blue cones are there together? No, how many altogether? We have 15. Right, there are 15. Yeah, don't worry about that. So there are 15 purple and blue cones. So you want 7 and 8. Yeah. Yeah, maybe we could just make the little beanbaggy guys go away at this point.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1. Yeah, 2, 3.
You're gonna have to run your thing between me.
Okay, so she's made a start. We're gonna have a couple other people.
You bailed on me.
Yeah, I know. Rachel here is left out.
I need to get a kind of back through Seminole and back through this way. To keep Shawnee.
Yeah. And then you've got Shawnee East, so.
But then that, it's still, come on down.
And then keep that east too.
I guess I don't understand.
Oh, that's okay. That's a good question. Okay, perfect. Okay, so they have decided, so let's be really clear, right? If we're drawing these lines, we are redistricting your state, right? We're just going to draw districts. We're not talking about gerrymandering. You have to, because we elect representatives geographically, you have to divide the state somehow. And so did we get 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 8 and 7? Yeah, so you've got 8 and 7. So you think that's about half of the population? No. Okay.
Right, but you have 1 and
You're gonna have to include Ardmore and Ada to make it even.
Okay.
All of this, pretty much right here,
Mm-hmm.
is one district.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's its own, the city's its own, because
And-
there's nobody in this one.
Nobody, right. Okay. So now let's say that you're going to divide the state into quarters. All right. So volunteers to take this lovely white chain, and you can either leave the yellow chain as they did it, or you can move it around. You need some volunteers.
Oh, I volunteer to move the yellow chain.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Sure.
Can you help her?
Sure.
Okay.
So is the goal to make it even by population?
By population, right? It doesn't matter by area, right? So this is really your first discussion with your students about redistricting, is that area has nothing to do with it. It really only has to do with density of population, right? Okay. I'm gonna make the little guys go away here because they're just kind of